Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Under All Is the Land. I'm your host, Courtney Polis, here with my rock star co-stars, Silke Fernald.
Hello.
And Dominique Madden.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about making the shift from another career into real estate. I get this question a lot from people who are like, maybe I should get my real estate license. No, it's not always as easy as you think. But we have a few tales to tell, some special guest stars, and some secret finds on Instagram before we wrap it all up with a few thoughts on barriers to entry in our industry.
Yeah. Under all is the land, real estate. Courtney and friends about to show you how to generate wealth. Get educated, do for yourself. Add a couple notches to your belt. Under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real estate. Coming to you live from Acme Real Estate in Los Angeles, California.
All right, okay. So as I said, we have our rock star real estate agent, Emily Sinclair, who left a glitzy life in entertainment to join us at Acme and pursue her real estate fantasies. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I am really honored to be here. And this, can I just say, this room is so, I'm vibing on this room so much, the podcast studio.
It's kind of like being in Bali right now. Now we're sweating.
Exactly. We got that beautiful glow happening. It's good.
What's happening?
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So what made you make the jump from the entertainment industry to real estate?
Such a good question, especially because it was a fairly illustrious career as an executive producer for so many years. It was 18 years in total. Wow. And honestly, I just felt like I got to a place where I was obsessing over Redfin. I was sitting on set staring at Redfin in all of my downtime in between takes of whatever. And I was sending listings to my friends saying, you should buy this, you should buy this. And suddenly they were like, wow, you'd be a really good real estate agent. And I'm like, the world doesn't need another fucking realtor. Wow. But
it turns out they did.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. So I just kind of, even my husband was saying this is something you should really do. And I'm like, oh no, why would I leave my wonderful career? But then I kind of realized that there's more that I can do to help people. I could still tell great stories in real estate. Right. You know, I could still parlay all of my skills to advocating for people, helping them, build wealth. So that's kind of how it started.
I love that. So love of design and fascination with aggregator sites turned you on. Got it.
Sorry. Aggregator sites.
Yeah, now.
That's right.
I mean, no, you don't have to. You could say Redfin if you want to. That's all right. It's a free format here.
I was on the aggregator site.
Aggregator site, IDXing.
Yeah.
Aggregator apps. Yes. But tell us about your career. What exactly did you do? And what were some of the shows that you worked on that added to your illustrious resume?
Oh, yes. My very first reality show was Survivor. Have you heard of that one?
That's a big
You didn't know that one?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So that was kind of big.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was like I got on a rocket ship after that. I just, almost any show that was coming up that sounded interesting to me, I was hired on. Dating shows, I did Celebrity Mole, went to Hawaii, did Dancing with the Stars. But the big one for me, the real life-changing one, the seminal one I like to say, was in 2003, I did Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Mm-hmm. And I was a field producer. So my job was literally to run around on set for 18 hours a day and follow the build, watch, stand next to the camera and tell the talent, prompt the talent to say something about what are we doing right now and who are we building this beautiful house for, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I was immersed in construction, which I loved. I was immersed in design, and I was in a world where I was actually helping people that were really deserving, and it felt so good. And so that was the big one. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I rose up the ranks and worked on lots of other shows.
Is there more drama in the real estate industry or in the entertainment industry?
I actually think there's more drama in real estate real estate is more real than reality TV. honestly.
Yeah,
You know?
of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything is probably a bit
Anything's
more
more
real
real.
than reality TV.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, exactly.
But with real estate, there's like so many egos involved. Because let's face it, those of us who are good at our jobs have a healthy balance of narcissism and service, intentions.
Yeah.
You know, like we want to help you because it makes us feel like we're doing a better job at being human. So there is a kind of a cyclical,
It's so true.
It's a self-feeding monster kind of a thing.
For sure.
But, the bigger the ego, probably the better the agent a lot of times if they're translating that into service to their client.
Are you saying that I have a big ego? Is that what you're kind of like
I'm just
roundabout?
saying, I'm not surprised that you said real estate is more drama filled than reality television, because I think we have a lot of high drama people in real estate.
That is true. Yeah, well, there's just a lot more stakes, really. When you're thinking about the biggest purchase of someone's life, or
didn't we just talk about this? Okay, it's really not the biggest
But
purchase.
even with a 20% down,
It's
that
20%
is
down of the biggest purchase.
No, but that is still for
It's
some
not-
people going to be the biggest purchase.
It's not nothing, but just like you said, $1 million, you're not going, hey, excuse me, can I have $1 million to buy this house? You're going, hey, can I have $35,000 down on a 3.5%?
Right.
You know
But
what
for
I'm
some
saying?
people,
Very different.
35,000 is the most that they will ever pay for anything.
That
far
may
out.
be true, but I'm just saying it's not the full amount. But anyway, I digress.
how about it's just the biggest decision next to marriage and children? How about
That can be true.
Yeah, it's a big decision. And, you have to at least hold on to it for 2 years. Otherwise, you got to pay capital gains tax. So
Don't talk
anyway.
to me about that. I already know.
Oh, I know. But no, I mean, it's what were we talking about? I totally forgot.
You said the stakes are higher in real estate.
Yes.
So that makes drama. So is the drama that we were talking about, is it more between agents or more like about the deal? Like it's like, oh my God, then the seller did this and then the agent didn't show up. And then, how do I tell this to my client that this is disappointing? Like, what's your drama? Tell me.
I would say it's the deal. It's not really the agent so much. I mean, every once in a while, I'll get an agent that comes in and I'm like, oh, Nelly, this one is going to be intense because they're, not focusing on the deal whatsoever. They've got their hand in all sorts of different, pots, basically. But for the most part, it's, did someone actually do the thing they said they were going to do? Did they actually disclose the thing? They lied about this. They lied about the jacuzzi tub. It's that kind of stuff.
Right. To me, I think in the past market, and I don't know if you guys want to chime in here, it's been a lot of like, people are really amped up to write the most aggressive offer, but then they don't always want to deal with the consequences of writing the most aggressive offer. Like they forget, like, oh, there's a contract. It has these things that are built into it. Like, okay, it didn't appraise. Now you really do have to come out of pocket for the difference. You wrote an offer with no appraisal contingency, and this is why, And it's like, oh, but I thought it was going to appraise. It's like, yeah, but we don't, you have the money and you have to make up the difference. We can't like extend it another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Unless the sellers agree to it. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of anxiety in there around that.
A lot of anxiety. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So do you market to your Hollywood people?
Now I do. But when I first started, I didn't, because I was probably one of 5 people that left reality TV and became agents. And when all of them left, they did this big Facebook announcement. And there's this really cute picture of them standing in front of a house or standing with a new realtor pin or something like that. And they were like, I've left TV. I'm a realtor now. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Okay. So, I mean, I also didn't want to make a huge proclamation and then go right back to reality TV, So I kind of wanted to just dip my toe into the pool and see how it went. At first. And so I really didn't tell anyone on Facebook for like the first year.
And your dip was like a dive. Let's talk about how long you've been an agent. You've only been an agent for how long?
3 years.
And your first year, you closed a lot of deals.
5 deals for the first year is a lot.
That's a lot, guys.
Yeah.
That's like so many. So
Yeah.
how'd you do it?
So yeah, what I did was I just treated it like it was a real job every single day. I showed up at the office at 8:30 every single day. I made my list. I mean, even my very first day of, when you and I met and you offered to hang my license there, and I was like, oh my God, yes. And I went home and I made my touch list. And I had 43 people on my touch list. And I started making phone calls.
Amazing.
And that's just, I mean, I did what you told me to do.
Yeah,
you know?
good. So the training helped too.
The training really helped, but I also just showed up.
Yeah,
I showed
showing
up every damn day.
and taking accountability for the fact that you are running this business of you being
Exactly.
a real estate agent. So, I feel like brokerages are here for support. We're here for certain types of higher level guidance that, that the agent needs, but we can't make you show up.
Exactly.
You have to meet us halfway. Or nothing happens with the information we're giving you or the support we're giving you.
Yeah.
So I love that. But you're right. It's like, do you feel like between entertainment industry and real estate that if you put more time and effort into one of those, that you're guaranteed more of a return in one of those? You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like with real estate, you came first day, showed up, did the thing, and the results happened.
Absolutely.
Is it like that in the entertainment industry?
Not really. And in fact, you're programmed to believe you are completely disposable at all times. And so no matter how much you put in, you could still be fired immediately. You know what I mean? And so it's really sucks. There's a lot of Stockholm syndrome that goes with, that business essentially. So thankfully we don't have that. But no, I just found for all the effort I really put in, all the work, all the, blood, sweat, tears, it really did pay off and in droves, whereas in TV, I could work an 18-hour day. I'm definitely not getting overtime and I'm definitely not getting any thank you reviews, which I love. I cannot tell you how much I love getting those reviews. Almost more than getting a paycheck, like almost more than getting a lovely check, which is fabulous, but getting an amazing review where they really feel like I gave them the best service and they, said I did it. Yeah. They validate me or they said like, oh, and she was so funny to work with or whatever. I'm like, yes, Yeah.
Do you work more hours a week in real estate or in the entertainment industry?
I think I would say, no, I definitely don't work as many hours in real estate. Because there was a time when I would sign a contract, like a deal memo in TV that was 80-hour work week minimum. Like you will work 80 hours this week. Wow. And so now I get to make my own 80 hours if I want to work 80 hours.
That's the thing I was going to say. I feel like I do work 80 hours some weeks for sure, but some of the work is thinking.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm on set doing a thing, but I'm in my mind on my couch, ignoring everything else around me, thinking about, how am I going to get them this house? Or like, what can I do to solve this problem? So some amount of that, my mind is always consumed by real estate deals, always.
Oh, like in my dreams? There have been so many times I'm thinking about appraisal packages in my sleep, and I wake up and I'm like, did the appraisal come in low?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give? Like, do you think real estate's a career for everybody?
No.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who's considering, doesn't know if they want to make a shift from some other career to real estate?
I think one has to ask themselves, why do I want to be in real estate? Is it just because you love pretty homes? I don't think that's enough. I personally feel from doing it 3 years, you have to have a service heart. You have to really want to see people succeed and work and advocate for them. And that's part of being a negotiator. If we're going to work this hard, we want to know that, they're going to get what they want in the end, and there's not everyone is like that. That is the shocking thing. I find with some agents, they're like, oh, I don't know. Well, if it happens, it happens. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
He was just talking about that. We were just talking about how sometimes the difference between a super effective real estate agent and a maybe not as effective real estate agent is how committed you are to the outcome. And how many hurdles you're willing to jump to get there. It's not laissez-faire.
Right.
It's like also showing people the other side of things because our brains are programmed to run away from risk typically. And, buyers perceive and sellers sometimes perceive going into the sales process as a risk and they're nervous and nobody wants to be made a fool of. And, it becomes a little adversarial. Like buyers always think they're paying too much. Sellers always feel like they're leaving money on the table. Exactly. So you as the negotiator, you're walking like this fine line. And there's some emotional intelligence that needs to happen in order for you to be able to do it really well.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like the thing that really distinguishes great agents from maybe not so great agents.
The expert from the salesperson.
The expert from the salesperson.
That's
yeah,
right. That's
totally.
right. Yeah, I don't think that you can go from being like a closer car salesman and move into real estate and be successful. I just don't. I think people smell the commission breath on the agent. You know what I mean?
It's hot breath.
Yeah, hot, stinky fish breath. Honestly, like some people have said like, oh, how much are you going to earn from that? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. We are not there yet. Like, I just want to get them this house. That's where I'm coming from.
It's so funny. I feel the same way. Do you guys feel that way? Like, I don't even think about the money. No. It's a flow.
Yeah.
It's, to me, the victory isn't getting the deal accepted and getting them through the process. Like,
I think, oh, sorry.
Go, no, you.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that the agents who come into it like that are also the ones who become the biggest liabilities. And, those are the ones who, just from stories I've heard, get themselves into situations by not caring about, what the person is going to end up with on the other side, just that the deal gets done, Yep. I mean, one of our agents had that experience when she bought, she bought with someone who just wanted to see it close. And instead of him flagging things that would have been really big issues and issues that she should have been aware of, he was just kind of massaging every issue. Oh, that's normal. That's and then she ends up with something that ultimately she needed to take into court.
Yeah. And she won.
And she won.
And she won.
Good for her.
So I have one more question, then you can share with us whatever parting sentiment you would like to inject into the audience if they're thinking about getting into real estate. But do you feel like you can read people better now?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think initially anyone who with a pulse who said they wanted to buy, I'm like, okay, great. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. And now I size them up a little bit more. I'm maybe a little less available because I'm also busier now, and I can tell the ones I don't have to chase them. They're kind of chasing me a little bit now too, you know? So there's that angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. So what parting words would you give? What advice would you give to anybody who's considering a real estate career? And I'm sorry if I asked this question already a different way, but or any other sentiments you want to share with us.
So I have really learned to trust my gut when it comes to reading people right off the bat. There are tells that people will, give you. They're going to reveal themselves maybe at the very first meeting when they, for instance, I'm thinking back to this guy that I met where he was very opinionated. He was a commercial agent. Maybe you'll remember who I'm talking about. Several years ago. And he said he wanted to use me as his real estate agent, even though he had his license. And he was he said, I can be a real handful. And, I should have believed him. I was like, oh, you're fine. No. Like, he proved himself because he wanted to see a certain house. I got him in the door ahead of anyone else. And then he completely snaked me by going to the listing agent.
Wow.
And
so that means you didn't have a buyer agency agreement.
I did have a signed buyer agency agreement. Do you remember?
I remember now.
Yeah. And then he was like, blowing us up and threatening to sue, and just
that was crazy.
Yeah, so I trust my gut now. When I see people that are seeming shifty, or if I have any little alarm bells going off, I'm like, my time is more valuable working with someone else. Maybe I can refer this person off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gut trust.
These are also the experiences that make you a better agent.
I suppose so. Yes,
right?
You're right. Yeah, it's true.
The more weird stuff happens.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
For the next time.
Yeah, totally. Bring on the weird stuff. It's real estate. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so honored to have you on our team, in our family, and you're just the shining light. We love you so much.
Thank you. Yay.
You can follow Emily Sinclair at Reality Girl on IG. So follow now, okay? Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 2 of Under All Is the Land. I'm Courtney, here with Silka and Dominique, and we're going to catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Coming to you live from Acme Real Estate in Los Angeles, California. It's Under All Is the Land with your host, Courtney Polis, Silka Fernald,